regulations included in this. The GPSR is a set of standards and rules for non-food consumer products. And so in Europe, they don't really update these regulations the way we do in the US. Instead, they create new directives and regulations. And so this is just going to completely replace what was in place previously. It's the standard for product safety in the EU, also in the UK and Northern Ireland, because they have stated they're going to continue following the EU directives. This talks about requirements for safe products and product recall and hazard requirements, which are brand new and they're extensive. The responsibilities of businesses for record keeping, which is new, and new labeling and documentation requirements, which are extensive and much more like what we're seeing now in the United States. This impacts a lot of people. It's not just manufacturing businesses, but it also impacts retailers and importers, online marketplaces, and even products you distribute for free. So if you have products that are non-compliant, whether they are products that you yourself have manufactured and don't want to have to sell or dispose of, but they were previously compliant or would have been compliant with previous regulations, and you want to distribute those to a charitable organization, or you are just a charitable organization who wants to distribute products to anybody. It also includes those products which are distributed for free. It also states that the regulation includes repaired, reconditioned, and used products. And I don't feel fully confident about the used product aspect of it, but this is anything refurbished. So if you were to take returns and refurbish them in some way and then put them back on the market, they would need to meet the new GPSR requirements. First thing that is required, and a really big one, and this was required previously as well, and I think a lot of people don't complete this step, but you have to complete a required risk assessment. This has to be a detailed risk assessment. And what they say about this is it's a technical document, and it has to consider issues such as foreseeable misuse. So if you have a product that you make and you say, this product is not for use hands-free, but it is foreseeable misuse that somebody's going to carry your baby, while not holding the baby, a new parent who's going to be going to the bathroom or tending to a toddler. If you have a product that is regularly used for back carrying, let's say you're manufacturing a structured carrier, and you are saying this product is not for back carrying, you still have to include thoughts about foreseeable misuse of this product. Might a parent put a child to sleep with your product and leave that in reach of the child? You have to consider that in your risk assessment. Think about any necessary warnings and safety information. This not only means warnings that are created through standards, but also anything that you deem as a company and in evaluating your product, because you are the expert in your product. If you think there are necessary warnings or safety information that should be included, you should include this in this technical document, this detailed risk assessment. Any physical, mechanical, chemical, or flammability hazards. So if you think, well, theoretically, a strangulation hazard is a big possibility in carriers. It's not something that we've seen in incidents. And so in your risk assessment, you might note that strangulation might be possible if a parent leaves this carrier in a child's crib. But you can also note that there are no known incidents of this, because this is your risk assessment as a company. What are the risks to anybody using my product? And any other potential hazards that you may think of, you are required to include in this risk assessment. I did look for any example that the government may have put out that discusses or shares what the risk assessment is supposed to look like, right? Because they say, oh, it's a technical document, which suggests they have a format in mind. And I didn't find one. So I think a really good place would be to start with the compliance plan, the detailed compliance planning information that we have for our members. I think that would be a really good way to begin your risk assessment, because we do cover all of this in that, not specifically this way, but generally speaking. So let's see. This is my required risk assessment. And I can go over all of this in a little more detail if you want, and there are some slides that say a little more about it. But there are well, let me stop. Do you have any questions so far about the required risk assessment or anything else that I have talked about? Because feel free to jump in with any questions. No. Okay, let me just double check the chat over here and see. I don't see anything. All right. So after your risk assessment, you are going to need to also look at your new labeling requirements. Now, this is a lot like if you manufacture in the US, you're already familiar